Wollongong, a coastal city located around 85 kilometres south of Sydney, and with an urban population of 300,000 people, it makes it the third largest city in all of New South Wales. But over the weekend we weren't there to see the stunning beaches or the scenic views. We were there to experience the annual event known as ComicGong. That's right, not Comic-Con, ComicGong. I had the opportunity to sit down with Mark, who is the Wollongong Council Libraries Manager, and we asked him a little bit more about how the event came to be and what their hopes are for future events. It's DeWayne here from DewyHQ. Let's jump in.
My name is Mark Norman and I'm the Wollongong City Libraries Manager. And one of our biggest events of the year is ComicGong, and this is our 11th ComicGong and our first wet ComicGong.
Yes, it's definitely been a bit wet today, Mark. It's a bit unfortunate, but we're making the best of it, which is what you've got to do in these sort of scenarios. But look, there's been a massive turnout today and it's been fantastic.
It's been fantastic, yes, amazing.
Like ComicGong is generally a Wollongong-based event, obviously, because it's designed by the libraries.
Yes.
When was it first conceived? Like, do you know when the idea was first thrown at the wall, like to essentially bring it to life?
Sure. As I said, this is our 11th ComicGong, but it did start at Corrimal Library, and there were a group of staff who were reading about Comic-Con in America, and also there was research coming out about reluctant readers. If they started on comics or graphic novels, then they would improve their literacy rate. So, 11 years ago, we started ComicGong before my time at Corrimal, and it was just such a surprise that the community took to it. And people were coming out in cosplay, little kids were turning up as their favourite superhero or princess. It was obvious that we had planned something that the community really, really wanted to be involved in. So then we shifted ComicGong to Wollongong. So because the library here is bigger, but we also are close to the town hall, close to the art gallery, and we have a beautiful town green in between where we could have some outdoor events rather than have the whole event indoors.
So essentially it started off as only in Corrimal, the library, it's just a little local event.
Just a little local event. I mean, all libraries put on different events. It could be author talks, it could be Lego, it could be games for teenagers, it could be drawing, art. But ComicGong was something that we thought, let's see what happens, see if it resonates with the audience, and it did so in spades, and we just had to move it to a bigger location.
That's good. You can see the amazing turnout we've had today, considering the weather. But it's been a fantastic, there's been that many people around, the artist alley's been pumping. I think with COVID recently passing us, we've all just kind of been craving that sort of human interaction is probably the right way to put it, but just being able to spend time with people and find people that are very passionate about your hobby, I suppose, because we've got things to Lego, to K-pop, to comics, to all sorts of things, you know what I mean? And it's cool that everyone kind of just converges and embraces the nerd.
Yeah, very hard decision. We left it till about lunchtime Thursday. Do we completely cancel because the rain had set in? The predictions was it's going to rain every single day.
Yeah.
Do we cancel totally, or do we just cancel the outdoors events because of safety and the rain, and just see if people will come even though it's just indoors? And I'm just so excited that people have said, let's just go out and do it.
That's it. When they first established it at Corrimal in particular, who was the key player who kind of pushed it forward? Like, was it just a team effort that kind of said, let's just see if this works? Like you said, you're going to throw it at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah. Well, obviously the manager at the time had to approve it and approve the budget, which would at that stage have been tiny, and a small group of staff who were really enthusiastic about the idea got together and started planning what would happen at Corrimal. And we've kept that model each year so that we call on staff who are interested in the event, whether they want to be on the team, 8 months worth of planning, We almost finished this one and we'll start again about September. So it is a lot of work.
Okay, so is that how long it takes for you to plan for this event? You're planning from September onwards?
Usually, yes. We get the team together around September, start reviewing what was successful in this ComicGong, and this is their first wet one.
Yeah.
So what still worked well and what did we learn from it, and start preparing for
Future
May
events.
2025. Yeah. We don't want every ComicGong to be exactly the same, but there are some areas where people just want the same things again. You know, they really want to see Batman and the Batmobile. The little kids really want face painting and Lego, and the cosplay competition in the art gallery where people can come dressed in the costumes that they've spent hours and hours working on. Those things will always be part of ComicGong, but we're always looking for new events or new ideas to put into ComicGong because we have those large indoor spaces.
Aside from the first one just being at that one location, but now it's expanded over to 4 different locations. So you've now got the Wollongong Town Hall, the Arts Centre in the Performance Hall, as well as the library. So you've got 4 different locations. If you could ideally have it somewhere else, where would you like to expand to? Would you go to a full actual convention hall or?
Look, we've looked at that a few times, and the issue that we have, and there are some, convention centre spaces or the stadium in Wollongong, is that it becomes an additional high cost to the program, and to affray those costs, the centre say, well, you just start charging people to turn up. And that's something we really don't want to do. We don't want to make this a paid event. We have kept it free in all of these years, despite all the costs rising.
That's what I was going to say.
Because we want to attract families, attract young people who are really interested in cosplay, without saying, look, it's $25 or it's $30 to attend. Most libraries put on various events, small, large like this. But our idea is that there's very few services that we charge for.
Sure, okay.
And we really do want people to come to libraries. We do want them to read or learn, but without having to say, well, it's going to cost you. There are some things that we charge for, not that many, and usually not a lot. We have a Music in the Library series running with very well-known musicians, and there's no fee. And the feedback has been from the audience members, I didn't know libraries did this, or I can't believe you're doing this for free. So where we can, we really do try to keep things as free as possible. Just the way public libraries think it's a free service and has always been a free service. It is in the Library Act of 1939, that's how far it goes back in Australia, that it's a service that the community is entitled to without having a charge.
So what are your hopes going forward for ComicGong? Just be a larger turnout, or would it be just more community members being involved? Or
our hope is that people are still interested, and we always wonder, well, are people still going to come to this? And I think today, with all the rain, clearly people still want to come.
Definitely. And Mark, if people want to get involved, say for next year, for 2025, because I think with the turnout we've had today, there's probably going to be a ComicGong 2025, rain, hail or shine. How would they reach out to the team to get involved, whether they want a vendor, whether they want to, represent, maybe put on a workshop? How would they reach out to you guys to be able to do that?
Yeah, well, if they follow us on our social media channels, they will see that we're planning ComicGong, and we call out to vendors, are you interested and do you want to book a table or multiple tables? More importantly though, we give people an opportunity to volunteer.
Well, thank you, Mark. I really appreciate you taking the time today to kind of sit down with us and talk about ComicGong, and we hope to see you at 2025.
Thanks so much for coming, really appreciate
it. Thanks, Mark, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
A special thank you to Wollongong City Libraries for allowing us to do the interview. If you wanted to learn more about the library, you can visit the links in the description below. And if you enjoyed this content, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you in the next video. It was Dwayne here from DewyHQ. See you then.